So yeah, so it's one other thing that I'm going to talk about too is um the different issues among Banyamulenge people. To me, uh, it bothers me beyond comprehension, and sometimes I question our intellect and our intentions. You know, we are we are suffering as a group of people. We have been marginalized by the Mai groups, different groups, militia groups operating in our region in South Kivu. And we know that even our own government, Congolese government, is supporting some of these groups. Um, we also know that our neighboring countries have interest within that region and have influence, and they are able to come in and go out as they wish. They're able to send in the troops to do their damage, to kill, to steal, to do whatever they wish in our own region. And all we have is us. That's the case. All we have is us. The Banyamulenge people, all they have is Banyamulenge people. And it's true. It's very true. We cannot rely on the Congolese government. We cannot rely on Tshisekedi government because he exists just in words, but it does not work. The systems of that government do not work. They do not exist. The political systems do not work. The law and order of that country does not exist. For the past 20 years, past 26 years, there has been hundreds of militia groups operating in eastern Congo. Millions of Congolese people have died from wars caused by militia groups coming from neighboring countries. And the Congolese government does not exist. Where is it? The role of a government is to what? We have governments, we as people everywhere across the world have governments. People agree to give up their rights as a collective so that they can be protected by a government. We have a government in DRC that's doing more harm than good. It's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. FRDC, the National Army of Congo, is committing as much crimes, as many crimes as the militia groups operating in that region. You look at the South Kivu, inhabited by Nyamulenge people. Even let me not just say Banyamulenge people. There's more groups. There's Bafulero. There's Babembe there. All these groups of people. It's Banyamulenge people are targeted the most. But the effect of these wars is felt by everyone in that region. So we have a government that claims to rule over that region, but yet does not protect the region. How can you say that you own a home if you have no say in that home? That's the question that I have for the Congolese government. You know, Tshisekedi should not say that he's the president of South Kivu, he's the president of North Kivu. He is not. He is not. There are over 200 militia groups operating in South Kivu and North Kivu. Yeah, he calls himself the president. How can he say he's the president of that region? He is not. He is not. So Congolese government does not exist. It does not exist. And so even though Banyamulenge people, we are the ones that are being targeted the most, being accused of being foreigners, even though we are as much Congolese as the next person, the other groups are also suffering. It's ridiculous. You look at the Bafulero people, Babembe people whom we share a region, who live in South Kivu, who say, you know what, you don't belong here, you belong to Rwanda, you belong to Burundi, go back to your country. You look at them, and they are miserable, just like I am. There are no schools for their children. There are no hospitals for their children. There are no jobs. There are no roads. There's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, you call yourself a true Congolese. Why has the government in Kinshasa done for you? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, they've convinced you that I'm your enemy. But specifically, I want to come back to Banyamulenge people. And I want to talk to Banyamulenge people in the US, in Canada, and Europe, especially the youth. There's now these divisions coming, um, you know, people saying that this group, this group is doing this that we don't like. They should be doing this. They should be doing this. I'm specifically talking about some groups that have arisen who are against Mahoro Peace. Mahoro Peace, the more established organization um, that has helped our people in the past 5 years, especially given the sufferings that we've been going through. And now there are other groups coming up saying, I want to create my own. I want to create my own group. I want to create my own group. To me, it's very sad. It's very, very sad to see, as small as we are as a group of people. I don't even. It's very hard to have a census to know exactly how many Banyamulenge people are out there across the world. I can't imagine that we reach a million. I can't imagine that we reach 1 million. As small as we are, we want to have these little divisions going on. And what's sad is that the Banyamulenge youth now are growing up trying to choose sides, having to choose sides. The thing is that we have nothing to fight about. We have nothing to fight about. We have nothing to fight about. There's nothing. Right now, we are being killed. Ubone ko turigwanaho. Kandi iyo twigwanyeho, we have to come together tukigwanaho turi kumwe. And so this is not about one person. It's not about trying to raise your name. And I'm afraid that it's very sad because I feel like some individuals are doing this to raise their names, to raise their status. But what is it? What is the issue? What is the issue? Really, what is the issue? I want to say that I'm going to say again, we have no political influence. We do not have political influence. Banyamulenge do not have political influence in the country of Congo. And if you believe that a certain group has a political influence, that is a lie. We've had a prime minister before. We have lawyers. But the fact still remains that we are being killed. So if we had political influence, our people will not be will not be being killed right now. But we are being killed. So we have no political influence. So we are here in diaspora. We have a lot of things at our disposals. We have our jobs, driving our cars, and what we want to do is jump on social media and say, "I don't like this person. I don't like their leadership. I don't like the things that they do." But what are you doing? And then some are accusing others of being affiliated with some political entities. Again, we have no political influence in the country or outside of the country. We do not have political influence. If we did have political influence, our people will not be killed. So shame on the Banyamulenge people trying to create havoc and divisions within diaspora. This is a time for us to come together for the betterment of our people. We have suffered enough. The past 5 years, our people are being killed daily. Our youth are fighting for our dignity, are being killed daily. And what we are doing here is um, a Twitter war. People are there with bullets, fighting with bullets. Here we are fighting with Twitter. What said is that we're not even using Twitter to fight our enemy. We are using Twitter to fight ourselves, which shows you that we're seeking self promotion. So to the Banyamulenge youth, I want you to uh, I'm gonna give you an advice that might be contrary to popular opinion. Don't follow the way of your of if your father is causing division within the community, do not follow his ways. If your mother is causing division within our community, do not follow his way. The fact still remains that your brothers in Murenga are being killed. Your sisters in Murenga are being killed. Your sisters in Murenga are being abused. And right now, you are in a place where you are safe. You don't have to worry about any of that because this is the country of law and order. If somebody wrongs you in this country, you can call the police and they can write you. Nobody can wrong you here without consequences. You can drive your car here, you can go to your job, you can make money, you can have a saving account, you can live happily ever after. And if that's your goal, there's nothing wrong with it. If you have arrived and the US is your final destination, and your grandkids, this is their final destination, then you have arrived. You don't even have to listen to this video. You have arrived. But if you are passionate about what's happening in your motherland back home, like I am, then I urge you that you open your mind and you open your eyes and understand that words are meaningless if there's no action. Having a vice president but suffering is useless, is meaningless. Having lawyers in a country or outside the country but still suffering, it's useless, it's meaningless. What we want to see is the betterment, of our people in our country. It's not just our people that need us, it's also the country overall. The whole country of Congo needs you. Even though it has not accepted you as its own son, even though you are, it's going to need you in the near future. So, wherever you are, I hope that whatever job you are doing, you do it with passion. Whatever job you're doing, if you're a nurse, if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, even if you're a cleaner, if you are, whatever job it is you're doing, We're gonna need you in the future. Um, so that's it. So again, I had to speak from the heart because I've been following this news, and having come back from Congo, I was there. Nageze ruguru nabonye ibibazo dufite. The whole country needs the reset. We have to start. Let me tell you something. We're talking about first. The first thing we have to do is stop war. Of course, that's the first thing. We have to stop the war. But the end goal is not to stop the war because once we stop the war, we have to build. And again, it's not. Notice I didn't say rebuild because the war that's there right now is there to kill people. But they're not property. They're not killing any properties because properties do not exist. So once we stop the war, which is the most important thing, saving human lives. Once we stop the war, then we can think about rebuilding. And whatever skill trade you have, whatever profession you are going to be needed, and we're going to need every single person. So I urge you to stay away from the divisions that are going on in our community because they are meaningless. They are senseless. When you say that I don't like this person's leadership when somebody is dying, what does that mean? What that's meaningless. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We'll talk about other issues affecting our country, but first we have to come together and understand that we share this problem. We share this problem, and it is your responsibility. Again, if you have arrived, if this is your final destination, you have nothing to worry about. But if you care about the well-being and the future of Banyamulenge people, then you gotta wake up. You have to wake up and come together, share ideas. When I was there, when I was in Minembwe, and Minembwe is considered to be the capital of Murenge. What I was saying, there's no electricity. There was no electricity in the house that was staying. There was no running water. Some of you are skilled electrician. Some of you are plumbers. Some of you are engineers. Don't you think that the capital of your motherland is going to need you? Don't you think that they need plumbers and electrician and engineers? Some of you are nurses. Some of you are doctors. There are very very few hospitals, and the doctors are locally trained. Don't you think that we're gonna need your skills, your degree from the U.S., from Europe? From Canada, whatever it may be? This whole thing about political things, accusing people of being affiliated with this political party, these political parties in Greater Lakes around that area, East Africa, Central Africa, they all have failed because all of them have led to millions of people dying. So not only do we have to create a better future for our people, for our region, we also have to redefine it. We cannot go in the same steps that our predecessors have taken because obviously they have failed. 6 million have died in the past 27 years alone in our region. So I'm sorry, I went on and talked and talked and talked, but there's more to come. There's more to come. I want to talk about, there's a lot to talk about. What can you do? You may be wondering, what can you do? There's more to be done than giving your monthly contribution. There's definitely more to be done. And then, so in the future, we'll be talking about what can be done, what more we can do. Um, We will also discuss the different militia groups, operating in our region. And obviously, like I said, I will also talk about my trip, the trip of a lifetime, where I was able to go back in Murenge at the height of the war. I was there. We also discuss some of the stuff that I saw, some of the stuff that I witnessed, and what I think the solution can be. But before I conclude, I want to tell you that that you are needed. That you are needed. Whatever your skill is, whatever your trade is, you are needed. And we cannot continue to live like this. We cannot continue. I don't want to die and leave Congo how I left, how I found it. You should have the same. You should have the same mindset. Let's be a positive change, a positive change for our people, for our country, for our continent. Let's be better human beings. And thank you, thank you, Anna. Thank you for listening. If you have not already, please like, subscribe for more content. The plan is that I will be releasing one video every week, and so every Saturday you should expect a video from me. Follow, like, subscribe, share, and thank you for being with me. Ni bonke Sekarore, musore wanyu Munyamurenge.